And we're live here on the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. Of course, I didn't plug in the hard cable for connect to the internet, so we'll see how it goes. And now we should be good. It's going faster now with the music. Ooh, okay. Hey, good morning. 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. I hope you're doing well. I'm having a crazy day, Thursday. So I want to talk about documentation a little bit. Definition done and documentation. I had bought 8 robotics kits, and I was kind of hoping that the kits included a manual on how to build those robots, and it didn't. And I ordered 8 manuals, and they're not here yet. And I got to coach a robotics class today. What should we do? But part of it, the definition done. Are those kits really done without instructions for these kids to build these robots? I don't know. I guess not. I don't think so. And the other thing is what I know everything goes digital and everyone has it digital. But one of the things, thinking from a diversity perspective, I got inner city kids. They don't have computers. They don't have laptops. And they're coming out of school and their phones. I don't think they're set up to go look at that. Or if they're even carry phones to school. I don't think they all have phones. But how do you do that? Good question. So is diverse by not having the documentation, is that considering the diversity, or are we just building kits for suburban kids that have a lot of good stuff available to them in their schools? That's a good question. Anyway, 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. I want to talk about documentation and definition of done, and do you have it? And today, we talk about Scrum and Agile in a very practical and tactical way, bringing value to the customer, not working crazy hours, and having a little fun along the way. My fun is theoretically helping a bunch of kids build robots today. Oh boy. But in the documentation, it made me think about, my wife asked me, what are we going to do today? I said, oh, where are the documents? They haven't got here yet. Oh, the power of direct delivery doesn't always work. But in a definition of done, are those kits really done if they don't have documentation on how to put the kit together? I don't know. It's a debate. Is it available online? Yes. Do all the kids and all the teams have computers and laptops? No. How do you take care of that? Because these kids are inner city kids. They don't have that. Their schools don't necessarily have all that equipment available to them. Their internet's slow. It's not high end. It's supposed to encourage people who don't do it to get into it. It's a very simple robot, and why I chose it to start off with. But in the definition done, is it done? Is it giving customer value if they can't put the thing together? That's a good question. I'm going to have to be creative in how to make that happen without that manual, without those documentations. But that's something you got to think about. Every definition done, in my opinion, should have something about documentation, whether it be as minor as possible or elaborate. I don't know necessarily to be elaborate. I've been through some things. We're going to talk about them as we go, but does it need to be a 20 million page spec or 20 million how to do everything manual? No, but it would be good to have some pictures. I might have to print some pictures out, what it looks like, and some instructions on that. But those are the kind of things you got to think about. So is it usable? Does it have value? Even though I wrote the code, without certain documentation, whether it be in the program or outside the program, because if all your documentation's in the program, but it's not working to start the program, how do you get your documentation? What's your fallback plan? What's your other avenues to help the customer use your product that you just created? Those are the kind of things you got to think about when you build these products. And I really do believe documentation is funny. I had a team years ago that we were cooking along, and they're like, oh, we can do so much stuff. And I said, wait, hold on. And I knew the definition done was going to get there because I knew it was coming. And the manager comes up, oh, don't forget about documentation on how to use the manuals, what they mean, and all that kind of stuff. So that added to our definition done. So we didn't necessarily get more velocity out of the team. It was the same velocity, but our definition done for each point got bigger, right? Some teams can raise the velocity, like the estimate, because I added a new thing. Was a 2-point story, now it's a 3-point story. It doesn't really matter. You choose whatever way you want, but however, the work you have to do to make something done got increased. So, but think about that. Your definition done. If you don't have documentation in the definition done for your team, you might want to question it and say, why not? And then figure out with your customers that are going to be using this, do they have the knowledge and the information in order to use your product? Just like the other day, I found a new little thing where I put the picture of my daughter doing the Girl Scout cookies door-to-door sales. I never knew that existed. Did I need the documentation on that? Maybe. Somehow would someone tell me no? If I didn't sit there and explore it one day and just find this button, go, oh, what's this button do? And just hit the button without that curiosity, I would have never found that ever in the history of mankind. So without my curiosity, I would never found how it works. So the question is, do you need a little bit of documentation? Say, oh, by the way, this button has all these 3 things and you can kind of do these things with the buttons. Maybe. So think about it. Think about your teams. Think about your definition done. Think about those inner city kids when you send stuff up. What kind of equipment do they really have? And don't assume that they have some sophisticated gaming equipment and they all have iPhones and they all have the latest and greatest of the iPads and stuff like that. iPads cost $1,200. They're not cheap, man. Real good ones. Not all schools have that. It's a shame, but they don't have it. And I don't have one either. So think about that documentation. With that, say have a great day. Happy scrumming. And we will see you tomorrow. Oh, don't forget, I put up the meetup. We're doing that on February 15th. Jennifer's going to talk about Kanban, and we're going to do some exercises and stuff like that. And I'm working on the other eyes. I had some ideas once I created that one for the next 2 sessions as well. So keep an eye on that. And also look forward to our Agile Slack channel. And I'll talk more about that. I might do an event to talk about all the different products that we're offering here in the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. Take care. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.